Hi guys, it's Valentine's Day. I hope everybody has some fun plans ahead for the day. I thought I'd pop on real quick and just give you some quick cutting tips to get started on your projects. I had a really good friend that she said, I just need some basic measurements as to a card base. How do I get started? So I thought, you know what? That's a pretty good question because I've been doing this for so long. I think I could do it in my sleep, but not everybody can and they don't know where to start. So I did a video before this and I wasn't happy with how it turned out. So I am reshooting this. And because I already have the paper cut, I'm just going to give you the visuals and I'm most sure you're going to understand it. So my name is Trish Wallace. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I would love to earn your business if you have any needs for Stampin' Up products. Stampin' Up is an amazing company. They have everything that coordinates. In fact, I'm looking at this paper over here. I had made some Valentine boxes, and you probably saw these on my Facebook page, which is Stampin' with Trish. But my goodness, look at this. How gorgeous are these on this? I mean, everything coordinates for Stampin' Up. Papers, ribbons, inks, you name it. So if you would like a catalog or have any interest in learning more about Stampin' Up, just give me a shout and I would love to answer any and all of your questions. But for today, I'm going to get focused on a base of a cardstock, or a base of a card. So as you can see, I have a couple of card samples here. And you can do a card base that opens up like this or like this. Same as this card opens kind of lengthways, and you could also create a card like this. Now both of these are the same exact size, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but they're cut differently from a piece of cardstock. So in order to get this style where it's oriented to open and shut kind of more on the long side, what you're going to do is you're going to take your 8 1/2 by 11 sheet, 8 1/2 this way, 11 this way, and you're going to cut it right down the center. This will give you 2 pieces of card bases that will measure 4 1/4 by 11. Then you score it exactly in half at the 5 1/2 mark. And when you do that, you'll have a long card base like this, okay? And again, you can create your card. Maybe you want to open it this way, oriented this way or this way. Either way, there's no right or wrong. It's all how you want to create. I did score these, and I will share with you that when you score your cardstock down the center, you'll get a much cleaner, crisper fold. And always, always, always fold so that the valley is on the upside and the mountain is on the inside. I know that's counterintuitive. You would think that the mountain needs to go on the outside, but when you score, you'll create like a little valley. And keep that on top and then fold the mountain to the inside and then burnish a little bit with your bone folder to crease that nice and tight. So that is this card base, and again, they're the same size, it's just the way the cardstock is cut. So moving along to the second cut, the same size cardstock, 8 1/2 this way by 11. This time we're cutting at the 5 1/2 mark. The last one we cut at the 4 1/4 mark. So this time we're cutting this way. So when you get this piece of paper and cut it, you're going to end up with 2 card bases that now equal 5 1/2 by 8 1/2. So when you fold that and score it, you now end up with 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And now you can have a card base like this, where you can open it this way, or like how I created this one, like this. Same size paper, just different directions of where you make that cut, whether you go on the shorter side of the 8 1/2 side and cut it in half, or cut it in half on the longer side on the 11 side. So either way, you're going to end up with a card base, same size. Doesn't really matter. It just depends on how you want to create your card base. So that's where I start out, and this size is 4 1/2 by 5 1/2, or excuse me, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is a traditional sized invitation envelope. We sell envelopes, and then other companies sell envelopes, and they're all the same size. They're 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and they will fit this size of a card, and it's called an invitation sized envelope. So there you have it for the base. Now, I also had this same friend ask me, okay, so what about other layers? I mean, like, what do you do about secondary layers? So as you can see on this card, and this card, this one has a little bit skinnier, narrow border where the navy is, and this has a little bit wider where the yellow is. So the key to that is to cut your next piece of cardstock. This is 1/8 of an inch smaller, so it gives you a little bit narrower little peak. And you know, it all depends on your card, what you're creating. Sometimes you just want a hint of color. Other times you want a little bit bolder statement. So this would be just a hint of pink underneath that black. And then this will give a little bit more, which is, this is the 1/4 inch. So that means that this black, instead of 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, which is the melon mambo color, you're going to end up with 4 by 5 1/4 on this size for the black. So this is 4 by 5 1/4, which fits 1/4 of an inch smaller than your base, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now this black layer is 1/8 of an inch smaller. So you just have to do the measurements, and again, it's just an 1/8 of an inch smaller than your 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So it's very simple, no magic tricks about it. When I do the next layer, it always depends on the design. So on this, I wanted to keep it kind of symmetrical. And so when I do that, I just cut it almost so that it is equal distance all the way around. And there again, it just depends on whatever you're creating, the focal point, and just play with it. There's no right or wrong. I've seen people use these smaller pieces and they kind of put it over to the side and put a ribbon here. You could even put it this way. And so, I mean, this is your card. This is your creation. There's no right or wrong, and whoever receives it is going to love it. And so don't sweat it. Just go with it and learn. And if you cut the wrong thing, you just grab another piece of paper and use however you cut the other one on a different project. So, you know, just go with it and have fun. And I will follow up with some photos and measurements because I know sometimes it's nice to have a visual. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I would love to answer them. Again, hop over to Stampin' with Trish on Facebook. I would love to have you, you know, sign up for my newsletter, which is on my shopping page. So I hope this helps you get started. And again, if you have any questions, let me know. I'd love to answer them. Have a great rest of the Valentine's Day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.